Welcome to our stream.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome. My name is Aaron.
I'm Kendra.
I'm from Ireland. I come from the southwest of Ireland, near Cork.
Okay. I'm from Seattle. Seattle.
And where is Seattle, Kendra?
The Pacific Northwest. Very close to Vancouver, Canada.
Ooh, very close to Canada. Wow.
3 hours by car.
3 hours by car from
3
Canada?
hours by car.
Very close.
Yeah.
In Europe, of course, our distances are very much shorter, while yours is, a short drive, 3 hours.
Is that, right? That sounds
I'm making a joke.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. So, welcome to our stream. Today, we will be looking at 6 to 7
achievements.
Wow.
Yes. Achievements. Aaron, what does achievement mean?
What is an achievement? It's when you have an objective, a goal, and you finally accomplish it. Yeah. Exactly.
You do it.
Hello, Valentina. Thank you for joining the stream. Yes, exactly. So you have an objective, you go through everything you need to do, you finally make it, you finally reach it, and so it becomes one of your achievements.
Exactly.
So for example, I don't know, if you've trained a lot for, hi Nancy, if you've trained a lot for a marathon and you finally run it and you win, that's your achievement.
That's your achievement.
Exactly.
Yeah. Getting a job position that you've been working very hard for is your achievement.
Definitely. Okay.
Cool.
Let's have a look at what is in this focus.
We have people.
Yay. In this focus activity.
Yeah. When, while, simple past, past continuous, linking words, and writing the story. Yeah.
Avatar. Let's read something about Avatar.
Lots to read.
Have you seen Avatar?
I have seen Avatar.
When did you see it?
A good question. I don't remember when I saw it. I've seen it a couple times though. I like it. It makes me cry.
I remember seeing it when it came out.
Okay. In theaters.
In the cinema.
Did you do the 3D?
With the 3D.
Okay.
With the 3D. What an amazing experience.
Okay.
I remember seeing all of the things coming at me and popping up. It was incredible at the time. Revolutionary, I might say.
I never saw it in 3D. No, I never saw it in 3D.
Worth seeing, but I think it's a good film also without the 3D, definitely.
Okay.
Okay, let's read about it.
You want to read the first?
Yeah, why not?
Paragraph?
In 1994, James Cameron was reading a science fiction book when he had the idea for a new film, Avatar.
He finished the scripts for Avatar in 1995 while he was producing Titanic. Should we switch or I do?
Although he wanted Avatar to come out in 1999, Cameron decided that technology was not advanced enough to film it.
So he waited 6 years.
6 years. He started working seriously on the project in 2005. However, it wasn't before 2009 that the film came out.
In conclusion, it took James Cameron more than 10 years to produce the film, but it made nearly $400 million.
Yes. I think at the moment it's one of the most, the highest earning films.
Has one passed it?
I think 2, possibly.
2.
I think there was Avengers, one of the Avengers, I think maybe the first one, and then the Star Wars Force Awakens.
Okay, you would know better than me.
But yeah, I'm a big Star Wars fan, so that's why I know. Excellent. So let's have. Oh yes. So 1994, he read the science fiction book, and he got the idea for the film.
It was a long time. It's really interesting that he had the script like almost
finished, right?
How many years before? 14? No. Yeah, like 14 years before it was actually produced.
Yes, it's quite incredible, actually. Let's ask our viewers, what is your favorite film?
Good question.
We can talk about it. That's how I spell favorite, anyway.
The British spelling of favorite.
The British spelling of favorite with a U. Tell us in the chat which is your favorite film. Maybe it's Avatar, maybe it's something else. But yeah, I remember also reading about another film, which is Mad Max. Have you seen Mad Max?
I've heard of it. I've not seen it.
Fury Road, and it took.
I
more
need
than
a
10.
film education.
You haven't read any of them.
There's a lot of movies I need to see. A lot of movies. But I have a question for you. Did you ever watch the Nickelodeon Avatar? The cartoon Avatar.
Oh, the Last of the Airbender.
The Last Airbender.
The Last Airbender.
So for me, that's Avatar. That's not Avatar.
But is it the anime or?
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen it. No.
It's good.
I've heard that it's very, very good.
Very good.
That one there. I think they also made a live action version of it, but it was a complete
that was bad.
Absolutely terrible.
Avatar: Last Airbender movie.
Not good.
I don't recommend it.
But the cartoon, the anime, is definitely one. And we have Mattia telling us that it's Harry Potter. What a great film.
Which Harry Potter, Mattia?
Exactly, that's a very important question. In general, I always recommend Harry Potter to my students, both as a film to watch, but also as a book to read.
Yeah.
For English learners as well, especially the first 2 or 3 books are very simple. It's modern British English. Yeah. Here we go, but he prefers the books. Of course, yes,
very
definitely.
Good. I remember being in 3rd grade when I read the first Harry Potter. I was 10.
Wow.
10 years old.
I was about the same age, and it was the first proper book that I read in English.
Yeah.
Was the first one. So, and he responds with the Half-Blood Prince is the best. Interesting choice.
That's the one with
interesting choice.
The big focus on what number is that? 6?
That's 6, I think. Yes. Yeah, the one after the Order of the Phoenix. It's the one where at the end a very important character dies.
Yes.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
But yeah, it is very good. That is a very good one.
That is a good one. What's your favorite one?
My personal favorite is probably The Order of the Phoenix.
Okay.
As a film, I found it really amazing. I just loved it so much. But as a book, probably The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Hi, Nancy. 12 Years Slave.
12 Years Slave.
I don't know that book.
It's a film. It's
We asked about films. Yes.
It's a very good film. I only saw bits of it, but it's with I can't remember Lupita Nyong'o. I remember is one of them, one of the 2 main actors, and I can't remember the name of the main actor, but it's a very good film as well.
I need a film education.
Valentina says, mine is The Untouchables.
Untouchables or Intouchables, Valentina?
I would say Untouchables.
I think Untouchables.
I can't remember this film, but I've definitely heard of it before. Mattia said it's the most emotional book I've ever read. Great. Definitely, especially if you read it at a younger age.
Untouchables.
No, the the Half-Blood Prince. I would say.
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
I'm getting lost.
In the chat. Amazing.
Well, let's take a look back at our avatar.
We have 2 words that are highlighted in red. We have when and while. When do we use when and when do we use while? Let's find out. So, we have was reading. What tense is this?
Was reading. Should we ask our viewers, or do you want me to answer?
Go ahead, you answer.
Okay, I'll answer. Past continuous.
Past continuous,
ding, ding,
very
ding.
good. Past continuous is when we have the past simple of the verb to be plus a verb in ing. So, for example, we've got an example of past continuous. Let's give me an example of past continuous.
I was watching Harry Potter yesterday night.
Harry Potter last night.
Ding.
Yes, and we have some people mentioning, in Italy is Quasi Amici with Omar Sly and Francois. What was it?
I was reading Harry yesterday.
Yes, I was reading Harry Potter yesterday.
Correct.
Exactly, very good. And Mattia correctly says it's past simple and past continuous. Yes, that is when we use the 2 when and while. Very good. In the example, we have he finished the script.
Also,
and he
had an idea. He finished past simple, and then while again.
To introduce.
Was producing.
Exactly. So we have when that introduces an interruption, while describes two actions that happen at the same time.
Yeah, and this is kind of a short description. Obviously, when and while have some other uses. When is normally to introduce our past simple, and while our past continuous. But obviously, if I said I was watching Harry Potter when the doorbell rang, that would introduce an interruption. But if I said while I was watching Harry Potter, my roommate was washing the dishes, those are two continuous actions at the same time. There's no interruption, so while would be better to use.
Exactly. Often we'll use while to introduce two contemporary actions when we have long actions, past continuous long actions. So, for example, I don't know exactly. I was washing the dishes while my brother was playing video games.
So two continuous
long actions. We have some examples here from the chat. One here from Valentina. I was having a shower when the doorbell rang. Exactly, very good. So you had a long action and the interruption.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very good.
These are my hand motions when I teach.
Yeah.
Continuous action, interruption.
I like that. That was all fun. This happens all the time. If you're waiting for a courier, that suddenly you're doing something else and then you hear the doorbell ring. It's usually at the wrong possible time.
I received a text message. Yeah.
Okay, to move on. When and while. So we're going to play a little game for you today. We have
some resource cards.
One of us is going to read a short action, which is going to be the interruption, and the other one will read a long action, which is the...
Yeah, and in that way, we're going to combine two sentences. Okay.
And give you an example.
Let's try one. For example, Aaron.
Yes.
While I was driving to work.
While I was driving to work. It started to rain.
It started to rain. Good. We have our continuous action with the interruption. Okay. Do you want to start this time?
The electricity went out while
I was washing the dishes.
Excellent.
Okay.
Not a good thing to happen when you're washing the dishes.
Or exactly. While I was watching television.
Not very nice. Okay. So we're going to leave a couple in the comments so that they can try as well. Wonderful. Let's give them maybe long action, brush teeth, and interruption. We'll have phone ring.
Hear a loud bang.
Okay, hear a loud bang. Bang.
Does anyone know what a bang is?
A bang. Explosion. Yeah. So you can play along as well. We've written an example in the comments. We have a long action, brush teeth. An interruption, hear a loud bang. One will have to be in past continuous. One will be in past simple.
And try to use when and while.
Exactly. Very good. Let's
more.
Try another one.
I want to do something funny. I was thinking about my mom.
When I cut my finger.
Okay, why not? I was sleeping. Ooh, careful, Mattia. While introduces past continuous. So maybe instead of while, when?
Mm-hmm. Very good. Nancy says, when the traffic lights turn red.
What happened, Nancy?
Yes. So we're trying to put together sentences with past continuous and past simple together. Yeah. Remember, if you start with past continuous, introduce past simple with when. If you start with past simple, introduce past continuous with why. Let's give another example.
While I was walking in the park.
Someone stole my bag.
Wow. Okay. There you go. So while I was walking in the park, someone stole my bag.
Very good.
And
Um,
maybe it would help to see this screen.
I heard a knock on the door while
I was taking a shower.
Yes, excellent. I was having brunch.
No. When the accident happened.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's see some more. While I was watching TV.
So in this case, you can only use either while or when, not both of them together in the same sentence. So you can say, while I was watching TV, the phone rang, or I was watching TV when the phone rang. So use one or the other. Matthias says, I broke a leg while I was running around the park. Perfect.
Good.
Excellent. Excellent. I mean, not excellent that you broke your leg, but still excellent English. Very good.
I have an example for you guys, so you can
let's see if they can read it.
Oh my God. Yeah, hopefully my handwriting is good enough. Maybe they can see this. Maybe they can't. Okay. So while I was walking in the park, someone stole my bag. Or I can say, I was walking in the park when someone stole my bag. So only one, when or while, but not together, not in the same sentence.
Otherwise, it's a bit too much.
I was going to my house when I forgot my keys. Perfect, Nancy.
Yes, excellent. I would say when I realized I forgot my keys. That was going on.
Or when I lost my keys.
True.
Have you lost your keys?
Recently?
Ever?
No, but I remember leaving them. I went to visit a friend in a different region of Italy, and I forgot my keys at his house. So I came back to Bologna, where we live and work, without keys. Luckily, I had my roommates who opened for me, and I had to make a copy of the keys, but it was not very good. No, I had to be more careful with my keys after that. Yeah. Have you ever forgotten your keys?
I think a couple times when I was at university, but it was when I lived in the dorms, as the Americans call them. And so we have a reception for the dorm, so you can get an extra copy of your key.
Oh, excellent.
So it was never a problem.
But you never lost them completely?
Never lost them completely. One time I was locked out of the house, though. Not that I forgot my keys. I was locked out. And I climbed in through the window.
Wow. So you left the window unlocked.
Someone must have left the window unlocked or something, and I was able to open the window.
So what floor was it?
The bottom floor. The ground floor.
Okay, because if you need to scale about 2 to 3 stories just to get in the window, that's not.
My mom was teaching me a lesson.
So she locked you out.
I was not home on time. She needed to go to work, and so she left. She left for work and locked me out of the house.
So she was teaching you a lesson?
She was teaching me a lesson.
Amazing.
My mom teaches me very good lessons.
I imagine that after that you came home always on time.
Yes.
Should we do one more?
Why not? No, this one's tricky. So, question for you, Aaron.
Okay.
If my verb's to be, can I put it in the continuous?
Oh, very good question. No, you can't. Because be is what we call a state verb, which means that we cannot use it in the continuous form. So there is no I was being.
Yeah. So instead of saying I was being at the cinema, I was at the cinema when.
Exactly. When I fell asleep.
Okay.
Classic.
Why not?
This always happens to my dad. My dad falls asleep very often when he's in the cinema, and he snores.
At the cinema?
Yes, which is why he never goes to the cinema anymore. So it's happened a couple of times, and he's decided after that to never go to the cinema again because he falls asleep and then he starts snoring.
Yeah. Do you guys know what snoring is?
Not a very good thing to do in a cinema.
Can someone tell us what is
snore?
The snore?
If anybody knows the verb to snore.
Drum roll.
Drum roll. Shall we move on with the...
Yeah. While we wait to see if anyone knows. Okay.
Linking words. So linking words, what are these?
Well, looking at the ones we have in the slide, when, while, although, so, however, conclusion, they're going to introduce another part or link two sentences.
Very good, yes. So we use these a lot when we write to put together more complex thoughts and sentences in general.
Yeah. To connect sentence to sentence.
Exactly. So we're looking for a linking word that shows contrast or contradiction, similar to but.
Similar to that.
So, for example, I like pizza, but not pizza with pineapple. Do you like pizza with pineapple?
I do like pizza with pineapple,
Pizza with pineapple.
But because in the United States we have a type of pizza called Hawaiian pizza. Because in Hawaii, it's very common to put together pork, pig, and pineapple. So on this pizza, it's ham with pineapple. It's like sweet and salty. It's good. It's very popular.
I can imagine.
I always remind students, Italians, it's the same idea of melon with prosciutto.
True.
It's salty and sweet.
True.
Just, I know you wouldn't put that on a pizza, but still, it's good. Okay. That's what I have to say.
You said your bit.
Said my piece.
Excellent.
To snore. Does no one know what it means?
No one seems to know to snore.
Should we show them what it means?
You fall asleep and you're really loud. So this is what my dad used to do in the cinema. So he never comes to the cinema anymore.
It cracks me up.
He's a very loud snorer. Even when he's on business trips, he can never really share a room or anything. He always needs to get his own room because otherwise
goodness.
no
Your
one.
Poor mother.
Oh yeah, they don't sleep in the same bed anymore. No. My dad sleeps on the sofa because otherwise it's too loud.
Can't sleep.
No.
Terrible.
She used to use earplugs.
Yeah.
But it's gotten too much, too loud. So.
Oh my goodness.
But apparently there is no scientific medical solution to snoring. There is no cure. There is no.
I know some people like put things in their mouth.
Really?
There's like particular mouth guards that are supposed to help snoring.
Interesting.
My uncle has one. If my family watches this, they will be so embarrassed.
I've been talking about my family.
Oh yeah, your dog, your dad. Sorry.
Okay, let's go back to our linking words. Did anybody think of a contrast or contradiction similar to but?
Yeah, anyone know?
Did. So we have.
Did we lose our viewers? Anyone still there?
We have although, similar to but.
Also, one more.
However. Yes, very good.
Definitely.
To introduce an effect.
So.
And a summary or a conclusion.
I have other examples.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What other examples do you have, Kendra?
As introduces an effect as a result, and summary or conclusion, we could also say to sum up.
Good. These are great when you're writing to, so that you can connect things a little bit better. It looks better if you write with some of these.
Has a nice flow.
It has a nice flow, yeah. Move to the next one.
What do we got?
We need to use them now. So I would like you in the comments to complete the sentences that you can see with the correct linking words on the left. Put it maybe with a number. For example, number 1 as a result, number 2 to tell us where you would put them in the.
There are 6 gaps.
Exactly.
6 blanks.
In the meantime, should we give them some examples with these?
More examples. Okay. Let's see. We've done a lot of while and when.
Yes, so you should know this one.
Okay. What about as a result?
As a result.
Do we have anyone?
Give them an example with as a result. The prices of tickets for buses went up. As a result, I'm going to take my bike to work.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, I forgot a red sock in my laundry. As a result, my clothes are pink.
Is that true?
No, it's just an example. Just an example.
This happens, unfortunately.
Yeah. A red sock in my white. As a result, my clothes are pink. Okay. Actually, no. I have some green pants, and when I washed them with trousers pants, with my colored clothing, not white. Anything that was white had a kind of green shade now.
Interesting.
So I have to be careful with those pants.
Okay, so do you think it depends on the type of clothing? They give off color more or less?
I think it was just those pants.
Those pants in particular. Yeah. Okay.
Those pants.
We have an interesting question from Valentina. She asks, when can we use eventually?
Yes, that's not an easy one because in Italian it's very different. If I remember right. He's my expert, Italian expert.
I can't think now, but
eventually, it kind of means how it ends with time.
It's connected with time. It's at the end of a story or something. So, for example, let's give an example.
So I was looking at Instagram last night, and I eventually fell asleep at midnight.
Yeah. Or
after some time.
When you learn to ride a bike, you start, you fall once, you fall twice, you fall 3 times, but eventually you'll start to ride the bike and not fall. Exactly. So it's used when you're talking about a story and something that happens towards the end, chronologically.
With lots of practice speaking English, eventually you won't need to translate.
Exactly, very good. Or, exactly. Using phrasal verbs a lot when you're speaking will eventually lead to you remembering them.
Yeah, will eventually.
Eventually, yes.
With time.
With time, yes. Very good. I think that's a good translation. Right, Valentina gives us the first word. Answer. She says it's while.
So Valentina, if it's 3 years old, it says age. Do you think that?
Remember, while is with past continuous.
Yeah, that's the best way to remember.
Put it somewhere else.
Also, look, that sentence, there are 2 different verbs in past simple. Wow. He was and he composed. So even if that was supposed to be a longer action, which remember, we can't use to be in the past continuous, there's a second verb in the past simple. That's not to be.
So we'll give them a little bit more time. Let's have a look at another one. Although.
Although.
How do we use although?
I don't like fish, although I will eat fried calamari.
Oh, this is true. I know this is true.
Yeah. They get very upset with me when I don't go to sushi with them.
Yes, sushi is the best thing, and Kendra does not eat it.
And I'm from Seattle.
And is there a lot of fish in Seattle?
It's the Pacific Ocean.
So
I live right next to the ocean, and I don't eat fish.
Valentina says so for number 2.
Whoa.
Yes, so would
Yeah.
fit
So.
there. Yeah. For the first one.
When.
Excellent, yes. Because again, we have past simple.
2 times. Was and composed.
Exactly. So here we need when. The second time, as Valentina said, it is so. Exactly.
Good.
Yeah, I don't know. We could say with although. I would. I would love to ride a bike to work, although I actually don't have a bike.
Although I don't have a bike.
So I can't.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't really think of a better example. Okay, I think we should.
You don't have Wi-Fi at home, although you will in what next week?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes, I'm getting internet tomorrow. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
There you go.
Finally.
Although
I've really appreciated how important Wi-Fi is.
Yes.
When you don't have it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Any answers? No? What do you think, Aaron?
Well, we have. He was just a boy. Mozart traveled all over Europe. I would say although.
I don't agree.
What else could it be?
Maybe not. No, I agree. I changed my mind. I read something wrong.
It is although. I suppose we could also use while he was a boy, he traveled all over Europe.
Yeah.
During the period that he was a boy. But yeah, this is trying to show that
there's a contradiction.
Exactly. He traveled all around Europe, but he was
as
only
a child. Yeah. He was only a boy. Okay. Yeah, you're right. So
in the next one we have was traveling. He was traveling, he met lots of people, and he played in front of kings and queens. This is past continuous.
Past continuous.
So we use while. Excellent. Very good, Valentina.
And she's asking, although is similar to even if.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah,
very similar.
Definitely. Yeah, very good, Valentina. And as you said, we have while and oops.
Too far, Aaron.
Terrible.
They know the answer now.
Yeah. Well, as a result, he never had any childhood friends, but spent a lot of time composing very beautiful music. The last one, it is very difficult. I'll leave it to you, Kendra. What could it be?
I'm going to say, to sum up.
Let's see. Drum roll. You're correct. Very good, very good. Mozart was very lonely.
I had 100% chance.
He was very successful composer. Very good.
Wow.
Yeah. Excellent. Good job. Good job. Have you ever watched the film about Mozart?
No.
I think it's.
Of course not. I need a film education. I've not seen it. Let's win. Which
the name
film?
of the film, I think, is called Amadeus.
Amadeus. No.
It's quite old. Maybe it came out 15 years ago, maybe. I'm not sure now exactly when it came out, but it's a very good film.
Okay.
Very good film.
Should we give them some more examples of to sum up? Maybe.
Why not?
Done as a result, and although to sum up. To sum up this webinar, just kidding, not yet.
Not yet. The film about the film Amadeus has great actors, a great storyline. It's got a really good director. So to sum up, it's a great movie.
Very good.
In conclusion,
You remember our thumbs up? In conclusion, it's a very good movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's move on. What about you?
Last one.
Yes.
So, what about you? We're not going to write a story because this is a webinar, but tell us about one of your own achievements. We'll tell each other about one of our own achievements. It could be about an important exam that you passed, competition that you won, a long and difficult task that you completed, a problem at work that you fixed, or any other special achievement. And we're going to try and use everything we've learned so far. So our connectives, past simple, past continuous, with when and while, and see what we come up with. I can't talk today. It's very difficult. Maybe the webinar makes me, no, this is normal in all my classes. I always do that sound.
So, tell me about an achievement of yours.
Oh my goodness.
Also, I'll write it here in the comments.
I have to think about that.
Tell us about one
of your achievements. Remember, something that you achieved, something that you accomplished, a goal that you reached is your achievement.
That's how you spell it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So this is the activity. Tell us about one of your achievements.
Now I have to really think. Because
it's difficult, really, to talk about achievements.
I have one, but it's not something that I was focused on. In the sense, it was more of an award. Okay. But I still see it as an achievement.
Tell us about it.
Okay, I'll tell you guys about it. So, my last year of university. The year before, I had switched my major. In the United States, we have a focus of study from math to art history.
Oh yes, you told me about that.
Yeah, and that
very big change.
Very big change. That final year, I had 2 jobs, and I was doing an internship while I was still studying.
Wow.
So
that's a lot of things happening at the same time.
A lot of things.
While
at the same time. So I was an intern for the museum for our university. I worked for the museum as like an assistant. I did tours of the museum. I was there when people came into the museum. And then I was also the gallery director for our student-led gallery on campus, art gallery. And
a lot of responsibility.
A lot of responsibility. That year also, I presented my thesis in a student research event, and it was eventually published.
Wow. So
after all that, my last year, they awarded me the outstanding person for the arts department.
Wow. Congratulations.
So that was my achievement, even though I was doing what I enjoyed.
It's fantastic.
But that was my achievement.
Well, that's the best kind of achievement, I think, when you're working for it, but it's something that you genuinely enjoy.
I didn't know it existed. That was the thing.
So
I wasn't working towards it. I was doing what I wanted to do. And then they said, hey, you're the outstanding senior. It's like, oh.
That's amazing.
Okay. Cool. What about you?
Probably a couple of years ago, I worked with some children. I was teaching them English, and we decided to put on a show at the end of the camp that we were doing. Like a play, yeah, okay. Exactly. And we also had someone, let's say, important come and see the play as well. And so at the beginning of the week, the kids were not particularly well behaved, and they weren't interested. They weren't very interested, but slowly but surely, I got them playing. I got them interested in the theme of the play. We did the Very Hungry Caterpillar, the story.
Very Hungry Caterpillar. Yes. I know that book.
It's a great book. The Very Hungry Caterpillar is one of the books that everyone reads when they're little, when they're very little.
Yeah.
It's about a very hungry caterpillar.
And he eats and he eats and he eats and he gets bigger and bigger and bigger and becomes a butterfly.
Yeah, spoiler alert, he becomes a butterfly. Yeah. You could spoil Very Hungry Caterpillar.
A children's book spoiler.
Yeah. And the children did really well. They made their own costumes. I had lots of little pineapples and apples and pears. And there was a butterfly, of course, and they had a caterpillar. Yeah. And they were really interested by the end of it. And so we performed the show. They did really, really well, and they really had fun with it. And so for me, it was an achievement. Because they started off absolutely terrible, and they ended up doing a great job. Yeah.
Well, I like stories with kids. It makes me miss coaching.
So I could say, although they started off by being a very rowdy, naughty group, they did really well, and they managed to perform really great. Yeah.
Other achievements.
Tell us about yours, please.
Yeah, tell us about your achievements, guys. Yeah.
It could be a competition. It could be an event. And I think every exam you pass at university is an achievement.
Not for the United States. No. Writing my thesis was definitely an achievement. But it was not as long as some of the theses. Some of the papers I've seen in Italy. But what would be a better?
What about some other competitions?
Actually, moving to Italy was an achievement.
Absolutely.
Moving to Italy was an achievement. While I was living at home, I was working 60 hours every week to save up money to move here, and that was a lot of work. Ooh, we have a comment.
Yes,
I have first degree in economy and commerce, and the second one.
Interesting. I would say I got my first degree in economy or in economics.
Yeah.
And commerce. And the second one a few years ago in theology.
Yeah, a few years ago. A few years ago.
Yeah, a few years ago, yes. Put an article there. Theology, interesting
change,
yes, definitely from economy and commerce to theology.
Another dynamic person.
Yes, just like Kendra.
Toot my own horn.
That's a good expression. So why did you decide to switch from math to
art? Great question. Well, when I started university, I had the idea that I wanted to be a math teacher, high school math teacher. But to do that, you still have to study all of math. And I was very good at the practice of math, but not the theory. And so once I started taking my theory classes, I really did not want to be in my theory classes. I had taken an art history class, I think my second year, and I loved it. So I decided, new vocab, to minor in it, so to do a small focus on that subject. And after 3 years of studying math, I finally decided I don't want to be in these math classes anymore. I'm not enjoying myself. I don't understand anymore. And so I switched to art history. Yeah. Art history and fine arts.
Wow.
Too.
Yeah. And is that the reason why you decided to come to Italy?
That's why I came to Italy. Yeah, because I wanted to do an internship after my degree. I originally wanted to go to Greece.
Greece.
But there weren't any opportunities. There weren't any opportunities to do an internship, and so there were a lot in Italy. So I decided, okay, I'll go to Italy, and then I'll take a vacation and go to Greece after the internship. But I just fell in love with Italy, and I had to come back.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
How can you not?
And now you're a resident here, right?
Now I'm a resident.
Fantastic.
Now I have my
Okay.
permesso di lavoro.
Fantastic. So is that permanent now, or do you
I
need
have
to
to
renew it
every year.
every year?
I hear mixed information,
Uh-huh.
so I do have to renew it this year for sure. But I've heard 1 year, 2 years, but on mine, 1 year.
1 year. Okay.
Mine 1 year. Any other achievements, or should we sum up? We have 5 minutes left.
Well,
Do you have any other comments, guys? Actually, questions. Good time for questions from our viewers.
I'm sorry, guys. I have to go pick my son up.
Okay.
Have a nice day. See you next time.
We'll see you next
We'll
time
see you
too,
next time,
Valentina.
Valentina. Thank you very much for joining us and interacting with us.
Yes, thank you for all the comments.
Yes. I don't know, any awards that we won?
I've won some art awards.
Art awards.
Yeah. Again, though,
You weren't.
I wasn't expecting it.
The best kind of award.
The best kind of award. I entered a drawing, but this was in high school, but my jewelry teacher, she entered something without telling me, and then I won the prize for the jewelry
that
I didn't enter. Yeah.
You made jewelry?
Yeah, we had a jewelry class at my high school. Mm-hmm.
So you made jewelry?
I made jewelry in high school. I think I took 3 semesters, 3 classes of jewelry.
Wow.
Yeah.
So could you make a ring?
Yeah.
Or like a necklace?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bracelets. Yeah.
That's amazing. What is the most complicated piece of jewelry that you ever made?
Gosh. So I had a problem with not finishing what I started when I did jewelry, and my teacher knew this, and she was very forgiving of me. But I had to create. Oh, we did wax casting.
Mm.
So you create the piece, like a ring, for example. You do it in wax, and then you put it into a cast. You melt the wax, and then you put the molten metal, and then you have to go back and clean up the ring and put any stones and whatnot into it. That was probably the most difficult. Yeah.
Wow. So the most difficult part is putting in the stones or making the wax?
Doing the wax.
Doing the wax.
Yeah, because you have to think of a lot of things when you're doing the wax, like how thick the wax is, how to make it so that the liquid metal gets to all of the places.
Yes. I imagine you need to in the mold you need to make some air vents and stuff.
No, you have a base, and then you have these little like wires of wax that the rings are then attached to. So you can do multiple rings at a time. But then that gets flipped and put into a cast so that the molten goes down. But everything has to have the path
to go through
to get to the ring.
Yeah. Because I remember for a while I made little tin soldiers.
Okay.
And so obviously you have the mold and everything, and you have to pour the molten metal in. But it was very difficult to get the metal everywhere.
Yeah.
Very difficult. And but I really enjoyed it. You know, it was a hobby. We had obviously you made it, then you covered it with a primer, and then you started painting it.
Yeah.
All the details.
That's so cool. Yeah. I actually found out after I did jewelry. I know we're almost out of time. My uncle does bronze casting.
Wow.
He does bronze sculptures. And I didn't know this, and I was like, art runs in my family.
Runs in the family. Okay, so to sum up.
My first webinar, not Aaron's.
Our first webinar, we have, although that is very similar to.
But, and however.
Sum up is very similar to in conclusion. And we have when that we use only with
past simple.
And while that we only use with
past continuous.
Excellent.
And we cannot use them in the same sentence. Don't forget.
We can't. If there are 2 long continuous actions, we would use past continuous for both.
And while.
to connect the two sentences. Yes, never use both of them together. And what do we use to introduce an interruption?
When.
When and past it. Oh, yes. Past simple. Otherwise, we use while. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for joining us for the stream.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
We'll see you next time.
Yes.
Yeah.